Good evening. Welcome, everybody, to our Power of Pipes organ concert. So glad to see you here. Great to see such a nice turnout tonight. Would like to thank Grace Lutheran Church for hosting us tonight, and thank you also to all the volunteers that have helped out just various things with, the parking, the ushering, the, preparing food, everything. It's wonderful to be here to celebrate some music tonight. I hope that you were able to find one of these program booklets on your way in. And if not, I'm sure we have a few extra that the ushers could help you out with if you just want to raise your hand about that. I do want to mention an error we have, or an omission, I guess, that we have in this booklet. So it does say that next week we have no concert. That's not true. We do have a concert next week. So yay, bonus concert, right? We're going to have one just down the block here at St. John the Evangelist. We'll have a concert played by Jason Pews. So we will have a concert next week. So hope you can join us for that. After tonight's concert, we will have a reception, just some light refreshments for everyone to enjoy, and we're going to have that just across the hall here in the room we call the parlor. So just wander right across the hall, and you'll be sure to enjoy that and just have some time to have some conversation afterwards. We will be collecting a free will offering tonight, and what that offering does is support the local chapter of the American Guild of Organists. So that's the organization that's sponsoring these concerts, and it just goes to support the programming that we have throughout the year. One program I'd like to specifically mention is our scholarship program. So we do run a program where we provide free lessons for anyone that is interested in learning the organ in our region. So just an opportunity for people to study the organ for a year, with one of the chapter members that teaches lessons. Would appreciate you considering donating generously to that free will offering for us tonight. So now that we're done with all the housekeeping here, I just want to turn to the music. You all came here for an organ concert, right? So let's talk about what we're going to be hearing tonight. The program is American folk music. And when we talk about folk music, I think that it can mean a lot of different things to different people. So I just want to share kind of what it was really meaning to me when I was kind of putting this program together, and just kind of what some of my thoughts are there. So for me, when we talk about folk music, there's really three things that really kind of come into play. First, it's music that has been handed down over generations, all right? So there's a multi-generational component to it. Two, we don't really know exactly where it came from, right? So we can't attribute it to a specific composer, but we do know that it's just part of a certain tradition, right? So we don't really know exactly. It's just something that came through over the generations over time. And then the third part about it connects with like either a cultural or a national identity, right? So those are kind of the three things. And so we're really talking about American folk music tonight, and I think that that cultural identity piece of it, for me at least, is really what makes this type of music something that you can have an emotional connection to. So something that's kind of hard to put into words, but I don't know, have you ever had a feeling where you're listening to a piece of music and maybe you get goosebumps listening to it? Anyone have a goosebumps type moment, listening to music? But this type of music does that for me, and so I hope you have some type of emotional connection with some of this music as we do this tonight, especially when we do some of the congregational singing together. I think that's where we can kind of feel some of those emotional connections too. Most of what you're going to hear tonight has its roots in the 18th and 19th centuries, as kind of the United States was kind of forming, right? So a lot of it has like a rural character to it. You think about landscapes and maybe farming communities and that type of those types of communities and that type of music, right? Another big part of the American experience during this time period is intertwined with the African American experience and the Native American experience. So we have a few African American spirituals on the program, and also one of the hymns that we're going to be singing is a Native American hymn. So speaking of the hymns, so there's going to be 5 of them, and in the pews there are the red hymnals there. So I would invite you at time when we get to that those spots in the program. Just use those hymnals. Would invite you to stand and sing with us. If you're more comfortable staying seated, that's okay too. But just kind of however you're able to do that. Yeah, I think that's it. Let's get to the music, and I hope you enjoy the concert tonight. Thank you for singing with me there. I'm not going to introduce every piece on the program tonight, but I'm just going to introduce a couple of them. And I wanted to introduce this one. What I wanted to do was tell a personal story about it, though. So this is a prelude on the hymn Tuum Nettleton. You might know that as the hymn Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing. So several years ago, when my daughter was probably around 3 years old, for whatever reason, we're getting her ready for bed, and I sang the first verse of this hymn to her before bed. She seemed to like it, and okay, I don't know why I did it. You know, I was probably playing it in church that week or something like that. But okay, she seemed to like it, and then the next night I did the same thing. And the very last line of that first verse of that hymn it ends with, "May I still thy goodness prove." And at the very end of that line, my daughter sang that goodness prove part back with me after just hearing it like once. So she just took to it, right? And so I kept singing her this hymn. For whatever reason, you know, it was probably a good year I did that as kind of part of the bedtime routine. And I tell you that story really for two reasons. One, my daughter's here tonight, and it's just fun to embarrass my daughter, who is now 16. So that was just an experience I had with my daughter, Alyssa. And the other reason I mention it is that I think it really speaks to this emotional connection that we can have with music like this that I was speaking about earlier, right? So I hope you enjoy this prelude on Nettleton. This next piece was written to conclude the annual Ashokan Fiddle and Dance Camps in upstate New York. And at first, this was a piece of music that stayed relatively obscure until it was used as really kind of the title music for Ken Burns' documentary on the Civil War. So some of you may have seen that. This song has a melody where the composer was trying to evoke feelings of loss and longing. And I think he just did an excellent job capturing that, as you'll hear. And I think it was really a perfect choice for that TV documentary, because I think it just reflects how a lot of people were feeling when their lives were drastically changed, because of that conflict. A lot of people are surprised to learn that this was written in 1982, because you hear it and you think, oh, that's clearly from that Civil War time period when you listen to this music. So it's just a great piece of music. I hope you enjoy Ashokan. Farewell. Denise gets set up for this next piece, just want to fill you in about something on the program. We're going to do two spirituals next. So Denise is going to play Every Time I Feel the Spirit, once she kind of gets all set up there behind the organ bench. And then we're going to do an organ-piano duet. We're going to do Joel Rainey's arrangement of Kumbaya, which is a very nice piece. It's got 6 movements to it. When we go through that, I think it would be a good idea to hold applause between those movements, so just kind of be ready for that. I think the last one is someone's shouting, so when it's time to shout and you hear the instruments shouting, I guess that would be the time when the piece is done. I also want to note that Denise and I have played this piece before, so if you're familiar and you've kind of been coming to these Power of Pipes concerts over the years, we did this in 2017 for a Power of Pipes concert, so several years ago. But we did it in reverse, so I played the piano part and Denise played the organ part. So we'll just do that a little bit backwards then, tonight, so we'll be switching parts. Are we all ready back there, Denise? I think she is, so here we go. I hope you enjoy her Every Time I Feel the Spirit. introduction here is pretty short, so why don't we rise right away? Thank you so much for coming this evening and singing with me tonight. That was fabulous. That last hymn was really great, wasn't it? Have one more piece to share with you. Just a couple reminders again. Reception after the concert across the hall in the parlor, and also the concert next week at St. John the Evangelist. This last piece is just kind of a fun arrangement. Up She Rises is kind of a sailor's song, right? And we believe this originated in the Northeast with American sailors, and it became kind of popular with the British sailors too, right? With a lot of the cross trade going on there and what have you. But this particular song, it answers a very important question. What would you do with a drunken sailor? Okay? This arrangement is kind of fun too, because what it does is it intersperses a few other kind of very serious pieces of music in with it. So it makes fun of a few of those composers across the pond, right? So those important composers there. So we have to apologize for that in the bulletin there, or the program there. The bulletin there, that's for Sunday. So sorry about that. But all right, I hope you enjoy Up She Rises.